You're listening to Blue Please here on CircleBit.com with myself, Tolbis. Got a quick birthday shout-out. He hasn't got to be generous today. Fargrom. He is 27 today. Also known as Michael in the real world. He's from the Netherlands. He was, in fact, at the Blue Please Holland meetup in Amsterdam, where we may have done questionable things, or at least seen questionable things. Interesting city. That's all I can say. Interesting city. The sights and sounds are not for children. Now, shout out goes to him. Congratulations. You are 27. You are still alive. It's good stuff. So, here we go. We've got way more stuff to talk about. It's a long show. I think I've been relatively tame thus far, honestly. I think that's fine. You don't have to have shouty stuff all the time in order to disagree with stuff. But there is one thing I have to disagree with. It goes by the name of Vault of Archivon. Vault of Archivon. I don't like Vault of Archivon. I don't like Vault of Archivon at all. Vault of Archivon is in fact complete and total garbage. Absolute abysmal design of raid encounters. It is the worst, without a doubt, dungeon ever made. It's like the Oculus and Molten Core had a bastard love child. And that love child ended up being freaking Damien from The Omen, the raiding equivalent of Damien. He grows up, and you know what he's going to do? He wants to destroy everything that's good about the raiding game. That is his goal. It's horrendous. VOA is horrible, and we complete the wonderful, quote-unquote, selection of VOA bosses with the fourth guy, i.e. the ice guy. Yes, really original. It's giant with fire. It's giant with rocks. It's giant with electricity. And it's giant with snow. I am Snow Giant. I look like Hodir. I am a reused model. Welcome back to the Molten Core days, where we reuse all the models of everything. Because, of course, VOA is a reuse of assets from halls of frickin' stone. And a bit of Ulduar thrown in there for good measure. The entire thing is a reuse. It's a rehash. It's recycled garbage. Quite literally. And does it turn into a wonderful, beautiful snowflake? No, it doesn't. It's not like those really cool things where you see those sculptures made out of other people's trash. That's really cool. No, this is not a sculpture made out of other people's trash. This is Blizzard's cast-offs. It's something the interns design. It's horrendous, both in the way that it looks, in the way that it plays, and I said both, so I'm only allowed to say two things here. Furthermore, yes, indeed, our three secret weapons, our many weapons, folks. The entire idea behind it is repugnant. It's repulsive. It's retroactive. It's retarded. It's awful. Yes, it is. So, let's talk about the latest boss in VOA. I don't even know his name. I don't care. It's Ice Dude and Fire Dude. You know how you remember the names of really cool bosses? That's why you don't remember anything. It is stupid thing. Ugh. Absolutely. Abysmal. Horrible. Terrible. Awful. Let's go and have a look at it. I'm literally going to have to go to MMO Champion to remember what this stupid thing is. I hate VOA. Let me tell you what this amazing boss, quote-unquote, does. Oh, it's fantastic. So, it drops tier 10, so you'd expect, let's cap off VOA with something relatively hard. God. This used to be non-alcoholic. Not anymore. I need the sweet juice just to keep me going. Toravon, the Ice Watcher! He's called that because all he does is watch while you take his loot. That is all he is. Does he do anything to stop you? No. Of course not. Let me introduce you to the wonders of Toravan, the Ice Watcher. The most dangerous boss in the world. The ultimate evolution of Blizzard raiding. In a world where raid dungeons were inaccessible, one dungeon was created to allow any scrub to get tier 10. Coming this fall. The sweet nectar. It keeps me saying it's the only thing that does. Toravan, let me tell you about freaking Toravan, ladies and gentlemen. Toravan. Oh. Let me tell you what he does. He does AoE raid damage. Every now and again, that is completely healable. And is no threat to you whatsoever. You have to swap tanks. Swapping tanks? That's insane! I've never seen that oh, wait, yes I have. Every freaking boss. Where did that mechanic come from? Well, I can tell you where that mechanic came from, ladies and gentlemen. Freaking vanilla! It's been around for 5 years! It's not remotely original anymore. What else does he do? He spawns frozen orbs. You want to know what the frozen orbs do? They fire freaking ice bolts at you. Really weak ice bolts that do like 2k DPS. Oh. If that. Why? Why would you? So, this is the most disgraceful thing about this, right? This boss, that's all he does. No, you're waiting for the rest of it, that's it. That's all it is. There's not even any comment on his abilities at all here. It's just... It's asinine. It's so bad. It doesn't do anything. And this is the loot you get. I am level 264, tier 10. And what's worse still, Wrathful. Yeah, Wrathful gear. As in the latest PvP gear is available. Yours for downing a boss, which is less difficult than a 5-man heroic encounter. Yes. Doing Devourer of Souls is harder than this boss. Doing freaking Bronjam is harder than this boss. I go as far as to say doing bloody Anubarak in Anchorage or whatever. It's not even an Anchorage. God, I'm going insane. I'm thinking of good instances, and I shouldn't be, because this isn't a good instance. The boss is a disgrace. Capping off, I'd say the wonderful triumvirate of failure, but I suppose it is. You know, we have the triumvirate of failure there. The only difficult part of VOA was doing a gimmick achievement, Earth, Wind, and Fire. Now, of course, as far as I'm aware, there isn't another achievement associated with this. Not at all. It's a quadrilogy of awful. It is. It's absolutely terrible. Look at every boss in there, and look at the worst elements. You know, you want to imagine the future of raiding if VOA is anything to go by? Well, imagine a giant's foot stomping on a WoW player's face. Forever. That's it. And it isn't even that. You know, it's a philosophical nightmare in terms of raiding. Everything about this boss and everything about this dungeon is wrong. Everything about it is it's the antithesis. Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. It's the antithesis of good raid design. It's a boring-looking dungeon with reused bosses, with reused abilities, no challenge whatsoever, and drops loot that is disproportionate. It brings back the worst parts. You know, they tried to get rid of this whole, oh, look at all these random teardrops. It's a throwback. But in all the worst elements of a throwback, it's molten freaking core all over again. It is as well. Let's compare this to Molten Core, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go on a trip. Look at Molten Core. Right, so what has it got in comparison to Molten Core? 1, it looks really boring. 2, it's got reused models. 3, it's filled with elementals. It really is Molten Core, isn't it? It's Molten Core for the new age. It's like they've learned nothing. Like, let's look back at a dungeon that's 6 years old. Let's recreate it with new models in an area that doesn't look like Molten Core. It's okay, guys. It doesn't look like Molten Core. Therefore, it can't possibly be Molten Core. No, this is Molten Core 2. The return of Molten Core. Molten Core strikes back. The terrible raid mechanics attack. It is. And they were the guys who said they didn't want another Molten Core. They were the guys who looked back at Molten Core and very clearly said that anyone that liked it is experiencing nostalgia. You're right. They are, because Molten Core is awful. I'm experiencing a little bit of deja vu here, folks, because this is Molten Core again. This time, they've decided they're going to drop disproportionate loot on it. It's a kick in the teeth to anyone that works for loot like this. So I was looking back through some interesting stuff. Remember when I did Badge Please? Everyone seems to like Badge Please for whatever reason. And they came to the conclusion that, hey, Badge Please is awesome. And a couple of people posted about it on MMO Champion. And one guy said, oh, well, you know, he's just whining. What does it matter if some other guy gets loot? And this is people that don't understand. Yeah, they just don't get it. It's like, oh, live and let live. No, don't live and let live. Yes, it inherently devalues gear if it's too easy to get. It's as simple as that. Raid progression is based on getting appropriate gear for doing appropriate content. That is how games work. It's basic, simple design principle. It has to work this way. Otherwise, why would people do the hard stuff if you can get the loot from the easy stuff? There's easy evidence of this, folks. Blizzard said it themselves. PvP was popular in the Burning Crusade because you could get equivalent level loot than instead of doing the PvE stuff that was harder. Now it's the other way around. PvE stuff is easier than the PvP stuff, so more people do PvE. They take the path of least resistance. And it turns the account into garbage. And it encourages this really bad design process, because Blizzard are thinking, well, most of our subscribers now are raiding, thereby we don't want to annoy them by putting in raid encounters that are, say, too easy. But they don't do that. No, because that would be the sensible thing. Now, if they thought about it, well, we've got to encourage our player base to be up for a challenge. How are we going to do that? Well, why don't we give them free tier 10.5 for killing a boss that is the equivalent of a 5-man heroic dungeon? Why would you do this? Can you tell me why you would do this? Because I can't think of it. I can't think of a good reason. It's trash. I suppose the argument is that you can say, oh, well, it's a good way to fill in gaps. No, it's not. It's not even remotely a good way to fill in gaps. Because look at the loot tables. 119 drops on 10, 119 drops on 25. So yeah, I've really been looking for that tier 10 headpiece. I'm going to go into VOA and get a 1 in 119 chance of getting it. And then, of course, get outrolled by some other guy. It's not a good way of filling in gaps. It's a bloody slot machine. That's all it is. You're shoving in quarters by going in there on a weekly basis on the off chance that you might get some piece of gear that you absolutely do not deserve. It serves no purpose. VOA is pointless. VOA fills no niche. VOA serves no practical purpose at all. Really, it doesn't. At all. God. Why? Why is it there, folks? Please tell me. Inform me why it's there. Give me one good reason why VOA should exist. Tell me why I should not take off and nuke the entire damn site from orbit. It was a terrible idea to begin with. A dungeon that's unlocked by doing PvP. Ugh. That's terrible to begin with. They've got nothing to do with each other. They should be kept separate. It's everything that's wrong with raiding. It's a disgrace. I hope that they have nothing like this in Cataclysm. I hope that they've learned their lesson. I really do. Because I did that encounter and I was snoring my head off. And you know what I saw? I saw some dude in tier 9. Yeah? He got in his tier 9 from running heroics. All of his other gear was basically garbage. Bits that he picked up from heroics. And I saw him get a piece of item level 264 Wrathful. And I looked at him. And I checked his stats. You want to know how many honourable kills he had? 17. He'd never been in a battleground in his life. He must have just done this accidentally in the middle of the world. Do you know what his arena rating was? He didn't have one. He didn't do arenas. So you want to tell me exactly why he deserved item level 264 PvP gear that you would otherwise have to work for? It sums the entire thing up. It really does. It's entirely depressing. I mean, this guy was doing like 900 DPS. He gets item level 264 gear for what? It's rewarding people for doing bad things. You want to talk about social engineering? Talk about that. That's terrible social engineering there from Blizzard. They need to sort this the hell out. VOA is an abomination. Whoever thought of it should be fired immediately. My name is Toll Biscuit. You are listening to Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com. I'll be back after the break with the illusion of choice. Yes, indeed. In the meantime, I'm going to play you... Well, I'm angry. Yeah? I really am. I'm angry, so I'm going to play something that is also angry. Bit angsty, maybe. Bring you back to your teenage years. It's Rage Against the Machine. I'll be right back after this. Enjoy.